So today we have a Pro R cage, and we wanted to cut a section out of it and show you the tubing and how thick it is and what most of the aftermarket cages use and how thick that is. So cut this out. So this is a cage that isn't even that old, and you can see there's already crap inside of it. But this is just like seamed tubing, and so you can see the wall thickness. So this is 1.75" 120 wall. This is what most of the aftermarket cages are going to use. Some of the brands will use an 0.95 wall, so a thinner wall tubing. In my personal opinion, I think every cage should be at least 120 wall for how fast they are and what we ask out of the cars. The 120 is going to hold up much better. You know, when you roll over, it's not going to dent as easy. It'll just give you a little bit more safety. Cool, so in this part we want to talk about the material and what the cages are made out of and the sizing. If you go to your local supply, steel supply, 99% of what you're going to buy is seamed tubing. It's going to have this darker line down the outside. The inside might have a groove or a raised edge. They start off with a flat sheet of steel and they roll it into a tube and then weld the top, and then they'll grind off the top. That's a problem when you're going to bend it, because that weld is going to be harder than the steel around it, and so it's going to want to split at that seam. So in a crash, if you hit a rock on this cage, it's going to want to split at that seam. Polaris uses seamed tubing. You can't really see it, but there's a groove that you can feel on the inside, and that should never be in a cage. They're great for fence posts, but that's about it. Most aftermarket cages are going to be made out of DOM or Chromoly. DOM is drawn over mandrel, so they'll start off with a tube similar to this, but they'll draw it through dies that will even out the wall thickness, so there's not a thin or a thick spot. Because of the extra steps they take, it's going to be more expensive. So DOM might be twice as expensive as seamed tubing. Chromoly is going to be probably twice as expensive as DOM. And so the next thing is the size. Yes, the Pro R cage is a 2-inch cage, and so people are like, well, the 2 inches is bigger than 1.75", which 95% of the cages are made out of. But the wall thickness matters a lot. Like if you take a soda can, if you dent the side and you put force on the end of it, it's going to crumple pretty easy. Same with this. Once you dent the outside of the tube, it loses a lot of its strength. So having a thicker wall is going to offer you a lot more strength. Yes, it's going to make the car a little heavier, but I'll take that over having a cage cave in. So.